Growing up in the 90s, I was a huge Marvel nerd. I collected Marvel comics, cards, and pugs. Yes, even pugs. I was so into comics that I even aspired to be a comic book artist at one point. Suffice it to say, I also played just about every Marvel video game that I could get my hands on. Everything from the original X-Men on the Genesis to Maximum Carnage and more. I even spent countless quarters playing the X-Men arcade game at my local Chuck E. Cheese. Having said that, after playing Marvel Powers United VR, I can safely say that it's unlike any superhero game I've ever played. I got a chance to interview Creative Director Mat Kraemer from developer Sanzaru Games, where he elaborates more on what Marvel Powers United VR is all about.
We have, the game is a 4-player multiplayer game. You can play single player with 3 AI, you can play 2-player with 2 AI, you can play 4-player with up to 4 of your friends or anyone online. We have 18 heroes, 10 locations, and 8 bosses to battle across the Marvel Universe. The game is set with a new Masters of Evil that is brought together with Thanos that has the Cosmic Cube. Now Thanos has broken the Cosmic Cube into multiple pieces and given it across all these bosses. As you battle across the universe, each boss you defeat, you can get a piece of this Cosmic Cube. You can piece together the cube and get a chance with 4 of your friends to battle Thanos on Sanctuary 2.
As Matt mentioned, there are 18 playable superheroes in the game, including Captain America, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and more. I asked Matt how the team decided which characters would be featured in the game, and if any Marvel characters were off limits.
Pretty much, I mean, everyone was on the table. It was a really collaborative experience, you know, with Oculus and Marvel. We picked heroes because we wanted a really wide variety of roster. We wanted power characters, we wanted gadget characters, you know, we wanted technical characters like Spider-Man, and really wanted a wide roster that caters to all types of players.
With so many heroes to choose from, I asked Matt how the team approached balancing characters, considering Marvel's characters by design aren't balanced in the comics.
And that brings up a good point. Like, you know, when we look at each character and each hero's moves and we're building them from the ground up, we look at like what are the iconic moves that people want to see. Like Wolverine, for example, you know, his cross-slash move from the comics, like that has to be there. You know, you look at Gamora, we gotta have the God Slayer, shaking out the God Slayer, you can charge it up, get some really cool attacks. You know, we don't have like set types of characters that we follow. Each character is unique, and we feel that they feel, you know, like the characters that fans come to know and love from the films and the comics.
You know, when you're making a game, I imagine you want the characters to kind of be balanced, you know. Is Thor going to be like much more powerful than like...
You know, it depends on your play style. You know, like Iceman, for example. If you want to be a combo closer and you're more of a projectile player, Iceman might be the character for you. If you're really want to be aggressive, strong, you know, combo closer, you're going to be picking a Thor or a Hulk. But I feel like the roster across the board, we have somebody for everybody. Everybody's been balanced, tuned, you know, across those 18 heroes. We do extensive play testing, you know, with Oculus and Marvel, and we've just been iterating on the game for some time. So I think everyone's pretty well balanced, and we've got someone for everybody.
Having played the game, I will say that the characters I tried felt pretty accurate to their comic book counterparts. Captain America can effectively bash enemies with his shield, Thor can hover through the air and throw and retrieve his hammer at will, and Spider-Man can web and slam enemies. One unique advantage that Sanzaru took advantage of is that they modeled all the in-game characters to scale, meaning when you're playing the Hulk, you feel much bigger than everyone else. Conversely, when you're playing Rocket Raccoon, you feel tiny. It's a unique element that really leverages the power of VR, and I asked Matt to elaborate on this design element.
Yeah, I mean, that was always, you know, one of the key aspects is to get, you know, scale, size, believability of what it would be like to be those characters. So Rocket, for example, you know, when you pick Rocket, you're a tiny little raccoon. You know, you're going to pick Hulk, you're going to be a big, huge, you know, hulking guy. You know, last year at Comic-Con, we'd see like lots of families coming to the show. You know, you get mom, dad, brother and sister. You get the dad coming up to play the game. He's playing as Rocket, and then his little daughter is in there playing as Hulk. So it's just cool to see that, you know, dynamic scale changing with the expectation of people have with each hero.
The game features artificial locomotion, which has been known to make some people motion sick. Considering the mass market appeal that Marvel has, was that at all a concern for you?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, we've got multiple, features for different types of players. By default, we don't have the blinders on. You can turn the blinders on if you want. You can turn how much you can rotate, if you want to rotate in smaller increments. If people don't want to freely move, they can always use the teleport, but I feel like the game has an option for everybody.
If you hadn't guessed from the word United in the title, the game is really designed to be a cooperative experience. I asked Matt if the game will also support a single-player campaign.
We do have the intro prologue section, which is single player, but you can always play the game single player through the entire experience by yourself. You can play single player with 3 bots. You can play 2 players with 2 of your friends and 2 bots. However you want to play.
I guess the single player is the same as the co-op.
Yeah,
campaign.
it's ramp difficult. The ramping is different than if you would play 4 players online. So we have a dynamic difficulty scaling. So for example, if you're really, really good and you're playing the game with 4 people online, you can get up to like pro level and you're fighting 2 bosses at once. Whereas if you're a newbie, you've just started the game, you just bought the bundle, and you're bringing it home for the first time, and you're playing single player with 3 AI, the game will be ramped very, at a lower pace.
Having played the game, Marvel Powers United VR will launch with 10 big arena-style maps that will feature random waves of baddies, boss battles, and mission objectives. Personally, I think I would have preferred more linear-style levels a la Left 4 Dead, but I asked Matt to elaborate on the design of the game's maps.
Yeah, so the game is broken into a couple rounds where you're protecting relays. The second part of the phase has players collecting the power cells, powering up the shield generator. So every time you play one of those maps, everything's random. Like the factions you get are random. You could have Hydra, you could have Sentries, you could have the Kree. The bosses you get are totally random. As you're going through those levels, you're getting points. Higher points you have, the more hero crates you're gonna get. Each character has personal objectives, 4 personal objectives. Each personal objective that you complete, you get a bone. You take the bone to Lockjaw, feed Lockjaw. I think you did that when you were playing the demo. Feed Lockjaw, and you can get a Lockjaw crate. And then those feed into a overarching unlocking system of costumes, loot unlocks for the loot room, and comic poses. And we have hundreds of those to choose from.
Considering the game is so unique, I asked Matt if there were any games, either VR or traditional, that inspired him and the team to make the game.
With Lone Echo, we love playing Lone Echo, Robo Recall, of course, but I really think it stands on its own. There's really nothing like it that really encapsulates the fast-paced superhero action that we have here. And, again, you have 18 heroes, 10 locations, 8 bosses, and I think it really just stands on its own.
Out of curiosity, do you have a favorite hero to play in the game?
I'd have to say, it's interesting. It changes quite often, but probably lately, Rocket and Crystal. I really like Crystal. I know she's not like a Marvel fan favorite, 'cause, a lot of people don't know that character, but I like the way she plays. She has a lot of fun strategies and a lot of depth to her.
Marvel Powers United VR is Sanzaru Games' 3rd VR title, following VR Sports Challenge and Ripcoil. I asked Matt what he and the team had learned from working in this space.
A lot of iteration. We've learned a lot about locomotion. For this game in particular, one of the first things we wanted to do was full locomotion, forward, back, left, right, rotation, flying, just like people would expect from a Marvel superheroes game. We learned a lot about gestures, how people throw things, how people release things, what makes people comfortable, not comfortable. You could see from the evolution of the games we've worked on, we have VR Sports, we had just the hands, the floaty hands. Ripcoil, we started doing the full body IK stuff. And with Marvel Powers United VR, we really take it to the next level with the IK.
Gotcha. What has been the biggest challenge in making the game?
Well, first picking those 18 heroes, because there's a lot of iconic characters to pick from, and if it was up to me, I'd pick all of them. But it's been a challenge to build a game that's easy for people to just come in and play. Someone could buy the bundle, have it for the first time, load up the game and have a good time. But we also want to cater to the hardcore VR players, that have had Oculus for 2 years, and they want a hardcore, in-depth experience. And we've built a game that really caters to both of those audiences, and that's really been a balancing act across the project.
How has it been like working with Oculus?
Fantastic. I mean, we have a great relationship with them, as well as Marvel, and working on this project, it's been a dream for all of us, and to have it come to fruition has been really good.
Cool. And then just to confirm, will this game be an Oculus exclusive forever?
Right now it's just on Oculus, so yeah.
Oculus recently revealed that it would be bundling up Marvel Powers United VR with Oculus Rift kits sold past July 31st for free. I asked Matt how this made him and the team feel.
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, with any game you work on, we put a lot of time, we put a lot of team effort. Sanzaru, Oculus, and Marvel, we're all in this for the long haul. We've been on this game for over 2 years, and to have the opportunity to have it bundled has just been fantastic.
Rounding out the interview, I asked Matt to provide his thoughts on VR and if he was optimistic about the medium's future.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, this is only the beginning. You look at how far we've come already. We started with a game like VR Sports with very limited movement. It was a really early touch game, and now here we are, 2 years later, we have a game that's 4-player multiplayer across 18 characters over a network, with full body IK across all these different sizes and scales. I just think it's going to accelerate. I think in the next 5 years you're going to see a lot of changes, a lot of different things, getting newer people in there. The cost is going to go down, and I'm very optimistic about it.
Marvel Powers United VR is set to release on July 26th for $39.99. Developer Sanzaru Games has DLC and patches planned, all of which the company tells me will be free. I want to thank Matt for this interview, and for all my patrons who helped make this crowdfunded video possible. If you like this video and want to see more content like it, please consider donating to my Patreon via the link in the description, where you'll get early access to videos, written content, and more.